On the screen here, I've got a list of social security numbers. For ease of display, I've put the information on the same worksheet here. In other words, these numbers are here. The table that I want to use is over here to the left. Imagine a more likely scenario would be this is in a different worksheet, possibly even a different workbook. Now, with VLOOKUP, we can't look up information unless it's in the left column of a table. And sometimes what we're trying to do is simply verify the existence of information. And there too, VLOOKUP is a shortcoming. We don't use VLOOKUP here to see if information actually exists. So imagine how we might take information like this to see if this information exists, for example, in column B. Now again, in a real-life situation, it's more likely that we're doing this where this column E information is located elsewhere. So instead of a VLOOKUP here, let's use a function called match. Now, match by itself doesn't usually give us everything we need, but in this case it might if we're only saying at the beginning here, let's see if the information exists over in column B. And what is it we're trying to find? This information right here. Now these are formatted entries. The real value of this is simply the text string 145696388, no hyphens. And that's the same kind of information in column B, comma. And wherever possible and appropriate if it makes sense, use the entire column reference, so we'll just use column B here. So the match function is very similar in some respects to a VLOOKUP function. There's a lookup value, that's that social security number. We're looking in an array. Now this needs to be a column or a portion of a column or a row or part of a row. It's not a two-dimensional range there. Comma. Now, you see what pops up on the screen? We're looking for an exact match here, and put in a 0. We need to find that exactly. We want to see if that number exists there. What kind of an answer are we going to get out of this? The positioning within the column, it's in, because we used the entire column B, it's in the 17th row. And if you look in the 17th row, you see that right here, that does match up with what we're trying to find. So the answer isn't complete in one sense, although if your sole purpose was to see, do we have this in our list? Yes, we do. And that's the result. And we see that pretty quickly and readily, the match function. Similar in some respects to VLOOKUP, when you're using the exact match there, that fourth argument that you need in some VLOOKUP functions is a 0, and here it is here for an exact match. If you need the other approach where it's 1 or -1, then the order of the information in the column has to be ascending or descending. Now, there's another use for match that might occur in a situation like this, where we've got entries in columns J and K, and the names are in, as you see, last and first name are split out this way. Does Yvonne Randall exist in the list? While here, for purposes of example, we see yes, and we can find it, but it's a short list. You see it over there, but it's in this display order. Now imagine certain kinds of databases that you might have. You get thousands of these. Obviously, you need a way to do it other than just eyeballing it. So what we want to do now is, in effect, pull these two together in a match function to see if together that exists over here. And you may or may not be familiar with how to concatenate, so we'll use that technique here. But we will be using the match function to say, in effect, let's see the combination of these. How do we put these together? In order to match up with what we're seeing in column P, we want to pick up the entry from J2 here, and along with this, use the ampersand, double quote, comma, space, double quote. So following the last name, Randall, we're looking for a Randall and a comma space, as you see over there in column P. And along with that last name and comma space, we also want to see the first name, Yvonne. So this is what we're looking for, Randall, comma, space, Yvonne, comma. So all of this is the lookup value. The table here is simply column P again. Like in the previous example, the entire column where appropriate, comma, and we are looking for an exact match. 0. We're done. And looking ahead there, you see Yvonne Randall, that's in the 13th row. That's our answer. It's the 13th position in column P. Now, usually you'll use additional features or possibly use this in a VLOOKUP to find other information, but Match by itself simply gives us the position of information in a column or in a row. If Yvonne isn't found here, or maybe someone spelled Yvonne's name differently here, you're going to get a different kind of answer, an NA. So this tells us when the information is not found, and sometimes that's an appropriate use of the function too. We either want to see if it's there or if it's not, and if it is, it gives us the positioning within the array. If not, it simply says NA couldn't find the information.